This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi, welcome back to the channel. So we've got an update on the motor yacht LOON story. Some potential new information has come to life in the form of an audio recording. Now, since motor yacht LOON's captain allegedly crashed the chase boat onto the rocks in St. Bart's on the 21st of December 2024, a lot has changed for the high-profile charter yacht. The yacht, which has been laid up in West Palm Beach since the incident, looks to be preparing for a charter trip in the Caribbean before the inevitable crossing of the Atlantic for the Mediterranean season. A number of posts on social media looking for new crew to replace or temporary crew to replace those who left after a number of them were injured in that crash. Now, the exodus that ensued seems to be based on the captain's behaviour after the incident, according to a number of posts on social media by now former crew, some of those posts were later removed. Now, shortly after the incident, a statement was posted on the Patreon page of Motor Yacht LOON saying that the incident was not that serious as media outlets were portraying. The statement was signed the LOON crew, but the Patreon page is controlled by Captain Paul Clark, who was at the time the skipper of Motor Yacht LOON. The statement was fiercely criticised by members of the crew who'd been on board the tender during the crash, as you can see in these posts on Instagram. Not long after, the Patreon post, the original one, was removed. Now, it should be noted that all of the social media for the yacht was created and run by the captain, who was, according to a number of people involved, operating the tender that night. The only social media not owned by Clark, as we understand, is the yachtloon.com website. Now, Captain Clark, who made the charter yacht famous on social media through the YouTube channel, Patreon page and the Instagram page, departed the vessel shortly after the incident that saw one member of the crew flown to hospital in Miami with severe facial injuries. An audio recording of somebody close to the crew has surfaced, which, if true, sheds light on what happened on board Real Wild, that was the name of the chase boat, or the tender, that night. We're going to play a portion of it shortly. Now, it should be noted that we cannot confirm the authenticity of the recording, but some of the things said in the recording have been confirmed to be true based on other posts by members of the crew who were on board that night. We've also beeped out some of the recording and disguised the voice to protect the person who is speaking from being identified. So we'll play that for you now.
So, and the LOON crew went out for a Christmas dinner in St. Bart's because they're supposed to pick up charter soon. So they did their Christmas dinner early. Anyways, so now they're all drinking at this restaurant, but obviously now LOON is anchored out in the open water and the restaurant is, I don't know where, somewhere on the island. So the tender was taking them, Paul, the captain, was taking them on the tender to the location to have the dinner. So they all have dinner and they all get so drunk. But 4 people leave early, so they leave back to LOON earlier than everyone else. So now there's 11 people having dinner still. So now they're all hammered. Okay, then Captain Paul decides that he's going to operate the tender while he's that drunk. And now this is the captain that I've been telling you all the shit about, where it's not what it seems like on Instagram or on social media at all. So he's like, no, I'm going to operate the tender, everyone will be fine. Everyone gets on the tender. Now they're busy playing stupid games, and now they push Tristan off. I don't know if the tender was moving or it was still, but they push Tristan off while they're in the water, and it's completely dark. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the evening, completely dark, and they push Tristan off the tender, and he's absolutely hammered. He's so drunk. So now you push a drunk person into the water. Firstly, they can easily drown, and it's dark. And then they literally continue moving forward. Paul continues moving forward, and Tristan's just swim 200 meters forward while it was completely dark and whatever. So then after they, a few of them kept pushing each other in, then Now Paul is operating the tender to go back to LOON, and he beaches the tender onto the rocks. Well, everyone on the crew said that he was being a really reckless driver, and he was hitting buoys to the sand and like going super fast and turning around corners super fast. And then he went onto the rocks, and everyone got injured. One of the girls, Natalia, she fell over the tender onto the rocks and got badly hurt. She like cut her lip open completely, where it looks like she has a cleft palate because it's like completely separated. It's like split down the middle, and then she lost most of her top teeth. So even the teeth at the back, she lost because of the impact when she hit the rocks. She could have easily died, and everyone on the boat could have easily died. And other people were unconscious for a few minutes and had concussions, and other people went flying and hit the roof of the tender and fell to the back, and it was a really bad accident. So luckily everyone is fine and no one's died, but people are like really injured and in a lot of pain and like really mad at Paul. So yeah, and then they went to the police and they had to obviously do a breathalyzer test, and Paul refused to do a breathalyzer test, so they do not have physical evidence of him being drunk while operating the tender, because obviously he will lose his license like that. So now they're all, and Paul had his lawyers with him while everyone was doing their statements to the thing, so they couldn't speak for themselves and speak on their own free will. So now they're all secretly going to the police station and secretly giving police statements to Paul, against Paul because of what he did. So now all of them are wanting to leave, but Paul's getting really mad at them and like downplaying everything and not apologizing to them. So it's really bad. And now there's news articles about it, and everyone's posting on their social medias, and it's really bad. But yeah, like it just reiterates how bad like LOON actually was. So now everyone and the chief officer is saying that he refuses to let Paul operate LOON again. He refuses because he's sending statements to Cayman Islands, and he's trying to get a different captain to just operate the yacht to St. Martin, so all the crew can fly away and leave the boat.
All right, so I want to just bring up a few points and show that there is corroboration there about some of the things that were said in this audio recording. In the recording, we can hear the person say that one of the crew was pushed off the tender into the water as a joke, and the tender had to return to pick him up. In the article from a local website, Le Journal de Saint-Barth, who spoke to a witness of the event from the shoreside, said that after recovering a passenger visibly forgotten on the spot, the ship painfully turned back before wandering in the dark between the buoys and the boats to finally leave the bay, propelled by its four engines. Now, that was translated from France. That's if you think it sounds a bit odd. Again, in the recording, the person could be heard saying that the driver of the tender was driving recklessly and hitting buoys onto the sand. Now, if we go back to the article, it says, on a video filmed from the beach of St. John, one can observe the tender jerkily striking buoys to the sand. So there's another corroboration. Now, the reporter clearly has seen a video from probably one of the locals, presumably, showing the poor driving actually happening before the grounding, which seems to corroborate more of that audio recording. Now, if we go back to the recording, we hear the person say that Natalia, who's one of the stewardesses on board, was thrown from the vessel and received severe injuries to her face, which has already been corroborated by various news reports and by crew who were there that night. And we know that that she was airlifted to a hospital in Miami for treatment. Now, in the recording, the person also says that the crew wanted to get to St. Martin as quickly as possible so they could leave the vessel. This appears to have been based on the amount of crew that resigned after the accident once the yacht arrived in that location. And that includes one of the LOON's former chefs, Dean Harrison. He posted on social media shortly after that he had left the vessel and was sad that it was under such circumstances. I'll put them on screen so you can see them. He also confirmed that many of the crew had resigned. In the last couple of days, the chef, who has his own social media presence, posted on his Instagram page that he's now working on Motor Yacht Project X as the head chef. The female chef Nina, who some people believed was the one injured that night initially, she was actually on leave at the time of the crash and returned to LOON and continues to work there, like I said, under a new captain. Now, we tried contacting the yacht and the captain on social media many times after the grounding. We never received any replies from either. We tried again in the last couple of days to contact the vessel through their website to ask about the various aspects of this story and to ask if they could give us an update on the condition of the female who was injured. We did not receive any reply. Now, if you've got any more information about this story that you want to share with us, please be sure to get in touch. You can get us on the email address in the ticker, news@theyachtreport.co.uk, or you can get us on Threema if you want to be confidential. You can get us on Instagram. You can contact us through all of our social media also. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching. Be sure to like the video, very important for the algorithm. Be sure to share it with anyone you think might be interested. And and stay tuned for more to come. We'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.